The oil and gas sector in Uganda is broadening into exploration and development of discovered oil and gas fields in the 1920s, together with refining and pipeline infrastructure development. This sector has progressed through the years, so we take you through how it all began and the circumstances that happened after through the eyes of a presidential advisor on oil and gas, Kabagambe Kaliisa. A company known as CNOOC was contracted to develop Area 3 in the Albertine one of the 3 exploration areas in the Albertine area. Some of the new changes brought is the construction of the 6.9-kilometer Kingfish Kaisatonya Road. The road also has infield roads that lead to the central processing facility, wells and residents. Some development comes with benefits. The roads that now have made transport easy and other people have built houses in the region. Through the eyes of a retired civil servant, Kabagambe Kaliisa, who also served in the energy ministry decades ago, but today serves as a presidential advisor on oil and gas. This is how it all began. Kaliisa says the Uganda's oil discovery process started way back in the 1920s. Seepage and drilling started more than 10 years later by a British South Africa drilling company, though it was unsuccessful because of the Second World War.
Exploration started in the 20s. At that time, the government geologists called Wayland did mapping, that is looking at the various rock types in the rift system, and saw some oil seeping out of the ground in places like Kibiro here, places like Semliki down in Chibuku area. Well, which was a good sign that oil has been generated. But of course, when you look at a seepage, it's good news and bad news, because oil can be it can be generated. At the same time, it dissipates, it comes out and is not trapped. So that is the bad news of seeing a seepage. But on the other hand, the oil can be generated and then it is trapped. So a little may escape, so which shows you that something has happened here. So that was good news and bad news. But then in 1938, as I discussed the other day, the government of the day licensed a South African company, British East Africa Imperial Company, but coming from South Africa, to do a drilling program, which they did. And you saw the Waki well, where a deep well was drilled in 1938, and it had some oil shows, but it did not really discover oil. It was a deep well meaning something like 4,008 feet or 1,300 meters, which is deep. However, because of the Second World War, business stopped at the time. And then later, in the 50s, precisely 1952, exploration started again in the Rift Valley. By that time, they did drilling of shallow wells in Kibiro, in Semliki, but there was no discovery bed. That is one issue. So technically it was not successful.
Mr. Kaliisa says in the 1950s, Uganda had been zoned among the agriculture destination, which led to the already made oil fields abandoned. In 1983, the search for the first crude unit resumed. A geological survey was made leading to the UN-funded airborne survey to search possible sediments in the rift system. The exercise happened along Congo. The survey report, according to Kaliisa, brought hope and courage because of the depth of the oil sediments discovered underground. They were 3 kilometers from the Earth's surface.
Politically, there was a change in colonial policy in the mid-50s when the British government started zoning the colonies. East Africa is for agriculture, West Africa is for oil and minerals. So since we were in agriculture, minerals and oil was not important for the British government. That is how exploration was kind of abandoned. So, and therefore, the program did not start until 1983, when we made a proposal as a geological survey, and I was part of the proposal to look at oil exploration again. That proposal was picked up by the World Bank, which financed an airborne survey of the Rift Valley in 1983 in order to ascertain whether you have what we call sediments in the rift system that can lead somebody to anticipate that there is an accumulation of oil here. That is technical. You can discuss with the technical people. They will give you the details. But the point I'm making is that we resumed as a country exploration in 1983. Previous efforts were not very productive. I personally remember in 1977, I mapped in Semlik area and actually mapped a seepage at Kibuku. That is Kabagambe Kaliisa report number 4 of the Geological Survey. But still, I believe because of lack of knowledge at the time, we did not relate what we were doing on the surface with what was happening underground. Because I was a mining geologist, I wasn't a petroleum geologist. So my business was to find minerals, not oil. So the point I'm making is that the previous efforts did not really come out with concrete results or outputs that one can say here is a discovery. So going back to the story of 1983, when we did that airborne survey, working together with the Congo, that time Zaire, we discovered that this rift system has sediments, things that have been falling there, soil, vegetation, and so on, and have piled up to a level of having at least 3 kilometers of material that have fallen into the basin, the rift system. Now, in terms of geology, if you have an accumulation of sediments that have a column, a thickness of 1 kilometer, then you gain a lot of confidence that yes, that thickness has capacity to generate enough pressure and temperature to boil the organic matter and transform that matter into oil. So that study of 83 gave us a lot of courage that there is something here. So I think that was a good policy decision, carry out a survey.
The enactment of the law was in 1984. Many oil companies were invited on board to start oil works. Government has since set up 3 arms to deal with the oil riches in the country. The Ministry of Energy and Oil Development, which formulates policy, the National Oil Company to handle oil business, and the Petroleum Authority to monitor compliance. This year, 2018, the oil works are scheduled to start. Experts say in 2020, Uganda will start harvesting from the oil sector, thereby giving Uganda a facelift in terms of economic gain. But that is not all. The infrastructure in the Albertine is already getting a new look. Among the developments is the construction of an international airport. More developments and how the oil sector will impact Ugandans are anticipated. So in the next episode, we'll drill on how the people within the Albertine region will benefit. This report by Edward Muhumuza for New Vision TV.